What is up, CSGs? The Rockets lost last night to the Utah Jazz after beating the brakes off of them the game before. First back to back of the season. I thought there'd be some slowdown. I didn't expect it to be that bad. You could definitely tell that they were not used to that. It showed up for multiple players, not Alperen Şengün. He balled out. But Kevin Durant, super inefficient, coming off a very efficient game where he had a week off. You can tell bro's getting a little old. You know what I mean? That's kind of the stuff you see from some older players where, if the rest gap isn't too wide, you may see some high variations in some of their efficiency. And the really, really young players. So you have the really old. I'm talking like Kevin Durant is like a geriatric, but he is old by NBA standards. And then you see the impact of the back-to-back on young players like Reed Sheppard, who was a cone on defense. And I think that's kind of the extremes you see there with our schedule being so cupcakey, not when it comes to competition, but when it comes to the scheduling. We've been having a really easy schedule when it comes to like time in between. Two multiple games where it's like you get two games in between, multiple games where you're home for long stretches, you go on the road for a little bit, come back home. So it's going to get nasty, but I'm glad we're getting out of the way early. In the season, I hope that we kind of even out. I haven't looked at the schedule since it was released, like long term, to see where it goes from here. But I hope it does even out, like where it's more consistent of a regular NBA team. Last I looked at the standings, the Thunder have played like 5 more games than us and into the season, which is crazy to me that we have two teams at the same time in the season. One team has played 5 more NBA basketball games. That's a lot. That's not a little bit. So I know we're going to have to pay for it in blood, right? We're going to have to pay for that in blood. What you hope for is that guys are not hurt when that happens, so it doesn't hurt our record too bad. We just got to be smart about keeping the guys healthy. The first game, Utah's Utah. I think there was some good from the game. The first game, you got to see a lot of good playmaking from the team. Şengün looked good, Reed looked good, KD looked good. It was a man. Everybody kind of played their part. The second game, it's hard to beat a team back to back, right? Especially when they're at home. They play with a little more pride. The Rockets kind of didn't have the right, I'm still a Mike D'Antoni term, they didn't have the right energy about them, and they got caught with their pants down, got caught slipping. It happens. You're not going to win every game, so it's not really much to go rah-rah about. It is what it is. You feel me? You just live with it. Now, there is, some people I was seeing on social media talking about Reed in the starting lineup. Is it good or bad for the team? I mean, I'm looking at it, cleaning the glass right now. Reed, Sheppard with the starters, which is Amen, KD, Jabari, and Şengün. 125 possessions. That's the third most frequent lineup we have. They are a plus 12.6. I'll live with that. Offense 119.2. Defense 106. That's pretty good. You know what I mean? The shooting isn't as great as I would like it, but they're playing pretty good defense with him surviving on there yesterday, notwithstanding. I think as far as with Reed's individual performance when he's in the starters, it does become a problem of shot dispersion, and that's really one of the weaknesses of this team. And what I mean by that is sometimes you, sometimes me, always us. Even though that's gotten better this year with KD being on the team, with Alp taking a step up, there is still a lot of that where everybody feels like they should be able to dictate when they get a shot. That is cool. We have a young team, so you have to find the balance between development and guys exploring their games in real time, just like Amen Thompson being on ball, which was one of the reasons we lost, in my opinion. A little too much Amen on ball. There are times where you can explore your games, and there are times where they have to find a balance of actually going to what actually works. The problem is at this point in the season, there's a few things that work. A lot of them don't involve, a lot of the players that want to get into the action, right? The stuff that works for us is going to be a form of Şengün in a pick and roll with KD, Reed, or somebody like that. A man in a dunker spot, Jabari, or another shooter in the corner. Fill those corners. Really, I saw that during the Milwaukee game. When you fill those corners, run high pick and roll, put him in the dunker, or he can be in the corner cutting from the weak side. You can really spam that all day. But I feel like our team's discipline is not good. It's not good. Like a championship level team They are perfectly content with running the same action over and over and over and over and over again until you stop it. Our team, we get bored with doing what's right, unless it's like do or die, like we got to have it late game situations. And even then, you'll get the occasional Amen Thompson, I'm just going to barrel into the paint in clutch time and throw up a prayer, or a Jabari, let me get into my ISO bag and this play, or whatever it is. Like those things really, those piss me off. Like that, if, you know what I mean? Like I said, I understand exploring your game. First quarter, cool. You know what I mean? You want to run some pick and rolls. Jabari, you want to get in some. But if you are going to want to win in the playoffs, you have to get that discipline of knowing that, okay, we've explored our kind of our random game and played through some of that development stuff. But when we get serious, we get serious. And I think it'll come. This is still early on in the season. And what you don't want to do is kind of limit the you want everybody to feel comfortable in the offense, to feel like they have a green light. At the same time, part of their maturity process is knowing at not only for the season as a whole, you have to know in a game to know when I don't have it. There's certain, like, you got to know, hey, I ain't got it today. Let me get into the action. If you do have, there are some games where Reed may be feeling it. Get him the ball, right? Şengün, get him the ball. Jabari, Amen, KD, get him the ball. If it's Amen feeling it, he got a mismatch that he's cooking, then get him the ball. But that is part of developing, and I think that's a big hole right now in the team. And a lot of the reasons they get into these things is when things are going sideways, everybody wants to help, and it's not out of selfishness. I don't think it's out of like them trying to, do too much or be like try to take away from each other. It's really everybody wants to help, right? And I think that's one of the things that you miss when you do have a point guard. It does go back to some of the services that you want with a point guard. And a point guard, like saying, oh, Reed is our point guard. Reed is learning to play that position, that on-ball guard, but Reed doesn't set the tempo for the team. He doesn't get guys into spots. Reed doesn't distribute the shots and know when I gotta hit this guy, or nah, we ain't running that. Get out the way. He's not doing it. He's too young. That's a lot to ask for a young player. At this point, what I like Reed to do is to be aggressive, shoot your shots. Like Amen said, if you don't shoot, we're going to punch you in the face. I'm going to digitally punch you if you don't shoot. Shoot your shots. Even when you're off, just the threat of you being out there, the threat of you trying those shots does open up a lot of spacing for some of the isolations that we have. But he is not ready to take on that mantle of running a team with so many options. And it's easy to be a point guard on a team that has limited options, but our team is actually, it's a hard team to point guard for because we got so much talent. And you have to read the flow of the game and then be confident in yourself that, and here's the hardest part. A lot of people don't talk about, and this is not an ad for Fred VanVleet, but this is something he does well. The really great point guards, you can not give yourself any shots and still turn it on when you need to. That is an underrated hard skill to do. Some guys need to get into a rhythm to be effective on the offensive end while distributing. It's a rare and it's a very it's a talent to be able to, I'm gonna dish this out for 3 quarters, 4th quarter, I got this. There's some guys that can do it. Not a lot. That's a very underrated ability to have. Some guys on ball, they need to keep scoring. And then once the defense takes them away, that's when they're going to get into okay, I'm going to facilitate. And I would say, like, you think of a guy like James Harden. I was using frame of reference because we all know him. James might fit into that. He's kind of a hybrid where he could assist when he wanted to, and when he wanted to score, he could just turn it on. And there are some times where he just scored, and when they forced him, then he'll just punish you with the assist. Luka's the same way. Then there's some just true all-out point guards that, a la Chris Paul, that I'm going to dish this. I'm going to run these actions. I'm going to get my big man touches. I'm going to get these corner threes, guys to get their threes off. I'm going to get my star players touches. But when it's time to rock that baby to sleep, I got this. I'm going to get into my mid-range. I think Reed can get there. His development is accelerated really fast. He's not going to be there yet, and it's unfair to try to put that on him right now. And I say all that to say, with him and the starters, because there's so many different personalities, there's so many different guys that need to get a touch. Sometimes with the current lineup with KD back and everything, he can become neglected. And if he gets neglected and he's not being aggressive because there's better players than him on the court, what it ends up happening is that he kind of, what he's not good at is heightened, which is he's not a great defender, and then he's not taking up shots. So that's a bad mix. Like, bro, if you're going to be out there, I need you to shoot. Like, I don't care what else is happening. If you're going to get cooked, at least for every 2 you give up, hit a couple threes, you feel me? Or take a couple threes. Be aggressive. I like the aggressive read because you got to be one of those shooters that, bro, got to get at least, with his shot making, he got to get like 7 to 10 threes a game. Just off rip. You feel me? And then the other stuff will come in between the flow of the game. So I like him in the starting lineup. They need to me, it's been good for us. We've used it not as a starting lineup. We've used that lineup late in games to close out teams. We've used it in different spurts. I like him right now. If he's going to be a starter, he needs to be kind of maybe the third and a half option on that, and sometimes switch in the first option. But that's going to take a lot of team discipline. My primary action is always going to start with KD and Şengün. That 2-man game, they need to explore that out. As much as I love Reed Sheppard, in the playoffs, there's a small chance he's not going to be playable. Because if Utah and whoever the hell they got on that team can hunt him, and it's a back-to-back, his legs are tired. When it's game 5 or 6, them legs are going to be cooked, baby. Them legs are going to be cooked. Them legs are going to be out of there. All you're going to be running on is fumes and just heart. And at that point, he's going to get exposed on that. So if they want to maximize him, they need to have him out there with a plan to get offensive contributions to the team, get your shots up. But the primary action is always going to be, to me, is going to be KD, Şengün, some form of pick and roll, handoff, whatever it is. And then whether it's Reed, Jabari, Tari when he's healthy, Okogie, whoever it is that you trust out there, depending on the matchups, they'll be out there as spacers, cutters, guys that can give you some cleanup duties, secondary attack closeouts, etc. Now, throughout the season, here's what I want to see. I want to see Amen play, I guess, in lower leverage situations. I like him playing on ball in some stretches, depending on how the defense is playing them. But when it is a high leverage situation, because these games matter, the seeding matters, the West is really close right now. Bro, get to the corner, get to the dunker spot, right? Unless it's a fast break. If it's not a fast break in a half court setting, it's not because not only he can't shoot, the dude takes too long to get into the set. Like, he just stands there and tries to determine what he's going to do. By the time he makes a choice about, am I going to attack or am I going to pull up? It's already 10 seconds left. And if they just crowd the paint, it's it's a 50-50, what he's going to do, make a shot or not. I don't like that. I don't like those odds. I just want the best shot at a time. I like him as a play finisher in a half court set. If it's transition or if it's him with a matchup that we really like, or the team just has a bad defensive scheme where they leave the paint open or they don't pack the paint, then attack it, right? Go ahead, give the ball to him, let him attack that mismatch. For Reed, I want Reed to get on-ball reps throughout the game. I want him to get pick-and-roll reps with Şengün and KD and Jabari. And I want him to attack drop bigs. And at the same time, in certain key moments, because of his handles are still getting better, because some teams may just have better defenders, they got to read the game. I want it to be in the corner, space it out. Or if you're going to be in a slot or in the wing with KD or Şengün in the post-up or in an isolation situation, be the man adjacent to them. So if the defense even cheats a little bit, kick it out to him, he's going to hit that three. That's how I want him to be used, right? And sprinkle in all the pick and roll stuff, the mid-range stuff, him getting to the basket, etc. All that's going to come. But it's just really about reading the game. And I think that's where we really, as good as we are, as talented as our team is, we make the game a lot harder than it is. And to me, I'm not even criticizing them on the regular season games, because they're going to beat a lot of regular season teams. They're going to beat some decent teams. But when you play the best of the best, the Denvers, the OKCs, the margins matter. And you can't keep taking losses to some of these really elite teams because, one, it's going to knock you down the rankings. And two, you just got to get experience in executing it in close game situations. And, right now, I think that's something that it's a weakness of our team, is executing when it really matters. And sometimes they let things snowball on themselves. So those are just my thoughts on some of the lineup. I didn't want to make a super long video. Just wanted to get my thoughts out. So I want y'all, obviously this is a topic of debate as far as what y'all think. I think one of the questions that people actually should Reed start. I think yes. I like him in the starting lineup. I just wish that we would utilize his skill set a little bit more, and Ime would be a little more creative. It's just weird that we still criticize the offense, even though we have like the number one offense in the league, even though it's spamming rebounds is the reason why, not really just like super elite efficiency. And you see, like I said, when teams are going to either compete with us on the boards or out rebound us, it's almost an automatic loss because our offense isn't that good when you look at it just in itself, right? So it's like you're getting a lot of second chance points. So that it's like you're doubling your opportunities, which is really, really good. But when those opportunities aren't there, are you getting the best shots? And sometimes, most of the time, if they're not, it's no, right? So the reason you get a lot of offensive rebounds because you're missing. So, and if you're missing and teams are getting their boards back, it's going to hurt you. So that's something I'd like to see. Once again, the Rockets, they still look good. This is just more high level talk, nothing really detailed. I just want to answer some questions. So if you guys have any thoughts on whether Reach to start, not start, anything that I said, I want to hear from y'all. Put it in the chat. Like, do you think, are we using the players right? Is there a way you'd like to see your favorite player being used? Let me know in the comments in the chat. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. Keep rocking with the Chop Shop. I'm going to keep dropping that fire.